The noose tightened around my neck like a lover's whisper turned fatal. And in that final, choking gasp, I saw my brother's smirk through the haze of the garage's dim bulb. Ethan. The golden boy, who'd rigged the pulley on my suicide just to claim the inheritance Grandpa had promised me. My lungs burned, vision blackening to the echo of his voice from hours before. Haley, you're the screw-up. This family's better off without you. Then nothing. Black. Eternal. But eternity cracked open like a bad dream at 3 a.m., and I jolted awake in my old twin bed, sheets tangled around legs that weren't supposed to move anymore. The faded Metallica poster on the wall stared back at me, the one I'd tacked up at 16, and the digital clock blinked 7:14 a.m., the exact morning of my 25th birthday. 3 years before that noose. Heart hammering, I stumbled to the mirror, and there I was, Haley Marie Whitaker, 22, wide-eyed and breathing, with the faint scar on my chin from that skateboarding wipeout in Portland. Reborn. Second chance. Or hell's cruel joke. I laughed then. A raw, ugly sound that echoed off the popcorn ceiling of my childhood bedroom in this sprawling McMansion on the outskirts of Seattle. Rain pattered against the window like impatient fingers, the Puget Sound fog rolling in thick as my rising bile. Downstairs, I could hear Mom humming some indie folk tune while flipping pancakes, oblivious to the storm she'd help unleash on me later. Dad's coffee grinder word, a ritual as predictable as his golf swings. And Ethan, probably scrolling TikTok in the basement, plotting his first investment with a family trust fund he'd siphon once I was out of the picture. Not this time. This time, I'd burn it all down before they could light the match. By noon, the house buzzed with forced cheer. Balloons bobbed from the banister. A happy 22nd banner strung crooked across the living room. Grandpa Whitaker, Elias, the steel-spined patriarch who'd built Whitaker Logging from a backwoods operation into a Pacific Northwest empire, wheeled in from his assisted wing, his nurse propping him up like a king on a throne. At 78, he was a shadow of the lumberjack who'd felled redwoods with an axe, but his eyes still cut like fresh sawn pine, sharp, unyielding, American as apple pie laced with bourbon. Happy birthday, kiddo, he rasped, pulling me into a hug that smelled of Old Spice and hospital antiseptic. His grip lingered on my shoulders, those gnarled hands that had signed over deeds worth millions. Got something for you. Something big. The family clustered around, Mom with her yoga-toned smile, Dad nursing a IPA. Ethan slouched on the couch like he owned it already. And Aunt Lydia, the chain-smoking busybody who'd whisper the poison in Mom's ear later. Cousins milled about, kids chasing the dog through the kitchen. It was all so normal. So perfectly Whitaker. White picket fence facade over a foundation of rot. Grandpa motioned to his briefcase, popped the latches with a click that silenced the room. Inside, a stack of papers gleamed under the recessed lights, legal docs, embossed seals, the works. The old colonial on Queen and Hill, he said, voice gravelly with pride. 480K. Haley. Yours. Free and clear. Been holding it since your grandma passed. Figured you'd turn it into something, a starter home, a flip, whatever lights that fire in you. My breath caught. That house. The one with the wraparound porch and views of the Olympics. The one I dreamed of restoring while scraping by as a barista. The one Ethan would discover in my name after my death, forging my signature to sell it off for his crypto scam. In my first life, I'd never even seen the deed. It vanished into the ether of family adjustments, My cut funneled to Ethan's debts. Betrayal's first bitter pill. Ethan's face twisted, just a flicker. But I caught it. That predatory glint. Like a coyote spotting a lame deer.
Whoa.
Grandpa, he drawled, leaning forward with that frat boy grin. Queen Anne? That's prime real estate. Haley's gonna need help managing that. Taxes. Maintenance, hell. I could co-sign. Take the load off. Mom chimed in, her voice syrupy concern.
Oh.
Sweetie, are you sure? It's such a big responsibility. Remember that time you totaled the Jetta?
We wouldn't want.
She trailed off, eyes flicking to Dad, who nodded like a bobblehead. I felt the old rage coil in my gut, hot and familiar. In that life, I'd swallowed it, smiled, nodded, let them guide me into oblivion.
But now?
Now I was the ghost at the feast. Thanks, Grandpa, I said, voice steady as I took the folder. My fingers brushed the paper, and for a split second, I saw it, the noose again, swinging in the empty garage while they divvied up my corpse's spoils. This means everything. The afternoon blurred into cake and small talk, but under it all, the tension hummed like power lines in a storm. Ethan cornered me by the grill later, flipping burgers with that cocky tilt to his jaw. Hey.
Sis.
Serious talk, that house? It's a gold mine. But you're not thinking straight. Let me handle the sale. We split it 50-50. Invest smart. You know I'm the numbers guy. I met his eyes. Those baby blues that had charmed bail bondsmen out of fees. In my past life, I'd trusted him, loaned him my savings for his startup, covered for his DUIs. Even lied to cops about that underage party at the cabin. The secret I'd buried deepest, the night he'd crashed Dad's truck into a guardrail. High on Adderall, killing our neighbor's golden retriever and nearly the kid walking it. I'd taken the fall, community service, probation, while he slithered free. Family first, he'd whispered then, sealing my silence with a hug. That debt had snowballed into my grave. Not a chance. Ethan, I said now, low and even. It's mine. End of story. His laugh was forced. A bark. Come on.
Hale.
Don't be greedy. Grandpa's getting senile, picking favorites again. The word hung there, greasy as the smoke curling up from the coals.
Greedy.
The accusation that would echo in court after my suicide, painting me as the unstable one. The addict, thanks to the pills he'd slipped in my purse. I wanted to grab the tongs and jam them into his smug face. But revenge wasn't a blunt instrument. It was a scalpel, precise, lingering. Dinner dragged on under the pergola, fairy lights twinkling against the encroaching dusk. Plates of ribs and coleslaw passed hand to hand, beer bottles sweating in the chill. Grandpa held court from his spot at the head, regaling us with tales of 80s logging booms, the unions he busted, the deals he cut with Chinese buyers that made him richer than God. America's about grit, folks, he boomed, slapping the table. Not handouts. Earn it or lose it. Ethan nodded along, the sycophant, but his foot tapped under the table, a tell I'd learned too late before. Aunt Lydia lit another Marlboro, exhaling toward the yard. Elias, you're spoiling her. Haley's got dreams. Sure. But that house, its legacy. For all of us. The table murmured agreement. A low buzz. Mom reached for my hand. We're just looking out for you, honey. And then Grandpa turned to me. Fork paused midair. his gaze piercing through the haze. So, Haley, what's the plan for that 480K beauty? Gonna live in it? Fix it up like your grandma wanted? The question landed like a grenade. In that other timeline, this was the pivot, the moment I'd gush about family input, opening the door for their siege. Ethan would volunteer as advisor. Mom would plant doubts about my instability, and Dad would handle the paperwork that vanished the deed. By fall, I'd be penniless, drowning in their gaslighting. The noose my only exit. Everyone leaned in, expectant. Forks clinked to a halt. The rain picked up, drumming on the awning like distant applause. I set down my napkin, slow and deliberate, feeling the weight of 3 lost years in my bones. The plan? I echoed, voice cutting clean through the damp air. First, I'm changing the locks. Then, I'm selling it, but not to you,
Ethan.
not to any of you. Because the last time I trusted this family with something mine, it ended with me swinging from a beam in the garage, while you all toasted to the tragic loss and pocketed every dime. Silence crashed down, heavier than the downpour. Grandpa's fork slipped from his fingers, clattering like a gunshot. Ethan's face drained to ash, eyes bulging. Mom gasped, hand to her throat. Haley, what on? But I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. The backyard felt like a stage after the curtain drop, spotlit by those damn fairy lights. Every face frozen in a tableau of shock and denial. Rain sluiced off the pergola edges, forming puddles that mirrored the chaos, Ethan's mouth gaping like a landed trout, Mom's manicured nails digging into the tablecloth, Dad's beer bottle halfway to his lips. Forgotten. Aunt Lydia's cigarette dangled, ash scattering like confetti from hell. And Grandpa, Grandpa, his watery eyes locked on mine, searching for the punchline in a joke gone nuclear. What the hell did you just say? Ethan recovered first, voice pitching high, that golden boy polish cracking like cheap veneer. He shoved back from the table, chair scraping gravel. Swinging? Garage? Haley, have you been hitting the bottle again? Or is this some TikTok prank? Laughter, nervous, sputtering, rippled from the cousins. But it died quick when I didn't blink. I stood, the folder of deeds clutched like a shield, water dripping from my hair onto the manila. Not a prank, brother. Not booze. Just truth. The kind you buried under 6 feet of lies and a forged coroner's note. Mom lurched up, her sundress sodden at the hem. Sweetheart,
Sit down.
you're scaring everyone. Whatever this is, stress from your job. Maybe PMS, we can talk privately. Her eyes darted to Dad. The silent plea for backup. But he just stared, Adam's apple bobbing like he'd swallowed a stone. Grandpa's voice cut through, a wheeze but steady. Haley girl. Explain.
Now. Oh.
How I wanted to spill it all in one cathartic flood. Watch the empire crumble under the weight of their sins. But revenge isn't a confession booth, it's a chessboard. And I'd already tipped my first pawn. I slid the folder across to him, pages fanning like a deck of marked cards. Read it,
Grandpa.
the addendum you signed last month in my timeline. Haley inherits soul. No contingencies. But they twisted it. Ethan sold the house for quick cash. Mom redistributed the proceeds to family needs. Dad notarized the fraud. And me? I ended up the punchline. The depressed daughter who offed herself because she couldn't handle the pressure. The word timeline hung weird, anachronistic in this rainy American tableau. but they were too stunned to question it. Ethan's fists balled, knuckles white. You're delusional. I never. You did, I snapped, the dam cracking just a hair.
Twice.
Actually. First time. You crashed that party at the lake house, remember? Underage booze. Coke lines off the dock. Kid from down the block, nearly drowned, pulling you out of the water. I lied to the sheriff. Said I was driving. Took the MIP. Lost my scholarship. Your thank you? Keep it quiet. Hail, family sticks together. Cousin Jake whistled low. The first crack in the united front. Aunt Lydia stubbed out her smoke. Eyes narrowing.
Ethan?
Is that true? He whirled on her.
Bullshit.
She was always the screw-up, jealous. Making shit up, too. Second time, I overrode. Voice rising like the storm. Was the truck. Dad's F-150. Adderall-fueled joyride down I-5. You plowed into Mr. Hargrove's fence. Totaled his Prius. And that dog, Buddy, didn't make it. The kid walking him, broken arm. Stitches. I confessed to the hit and run. Pleaded out to reckless endangerment. 6 months probation. Community service at the animal shelter, ironic.
Right?
While you partied through college on my dime. Dad finally spoke. Voice thick as fog. Haley.
That's.
We handled it as a family. To protect. Protect Ethan, I finished. Always Ethan. The prodigal son. The future CEO.
Me?
The disposable one. The one who covered your asses until the inheritance dropped. Then it was whispers. Unstable Haley. Pills in my bag, yours.
Ethan.
From your dealer stash. Therapy notes forged by Mom to help me. And the garage? That pulley system you installed for my art project? Rigged to snap under weight. I didn't suicide. You murdered me for $480K and the logging shares. The air thickened. Rain a relentless curtain. Grandpa's face crumpled, not tears, but fury, the kind that felled forests. He gripped the folder, veins bulging like roots. Is this true? Ethan bolted then, chair toppling, but Jake, solid. Quiet Jake grabbed his arm. Sit your ass down.
Cuz.
We're hearing her out. Mom dissolved into sobs. Theatrical and wet. We love you. Haley. It was for the best. Love. I laughed. Bitter as black coffee. Love doesn't end with a cover-up DA call from Dad's golf buddy. Love doesn't auction off your grave plot for beer money. Grandpa slammed the folder shut, the thud echoing like Judgment Day. Enough. Lydia.
Get the car.
We're going now. To my lawyer. All of us. The drive to Elias Whitaker's attorney was a funeral procession in reverse, Ethan's SUV tailing Grandpa's town car through slick Seattle streets. Wipers slapping time to the unspoken accusations. I rode shotgun with the old man. His breathing labored. Oxygen mask fogging occasionally. Why didn't you say sooner? Girl, he muttered. Eyes on the road's neon blur. Because I didn't know, I whispered. The half-truth slipping easy. How do you explain death and rebirth to a man who believes in bootstraps? Not cosmic do-overs? But I do now. And I'm fixing it. The lawyer's office in Belltown gleamed sterile, mahogany desk. Views of the sound churning gray. Mr. Hargrove, irony's cruel hook, the same DA who'd buried my suicide probe, now flipped through the addendum with a frown. Ironclad. Elias. Haley's name only. Any transfer without her sign? Fraud. Grandpa nodded, jaw set. Revoke access. All accounts. Ethan, you're cut off, pending investigation. Ethan exploded from his chair. Investigation? For what? Her fever dream? For murder, I said flatly, locking eyes. And fraud. And about that truck crash? Hargrove family might want a word. The room went tomb silent. Mr. Hargrove, the lawyer, not the victim, cleared his throat. We'll need statements. Police. Mom wailed, collapsing into Dad's lap like a bad rom-com. You can't believe her. She's unstable. But Grandpa's glare silenced her. I've believed lies long enough.
Out.
All of you, except Haley. They filed out. A parade of defeat, Ethan's venomous stare promising war, Mom's handkerchief a flag of surrender. Alone with Grandpa and the suit, I exhaled. The first real breath since waking. What now? Now, Grandpa said, wheeling closer. We rebuild. On truth. But Haley, how do you know all this? Like you lived it. I smiled. Faint and haunted. Let's just say. Second chances don't come cheap. That night, back in a McMansion, now feeling more like a mausoleum, I barricaded my door with a dresser. Sleep a distant shore. Dreams tangled, the nooses bite. Ethan's laugh. The house on Queen, and with its empty rooms echoing my unlived life. Morning brought texts, Ethan's furious barrage. You bitch. You'll regret this. Mom's weepy voicemails. Dad's curt family meeting. Noon, but I was already packing. The colonial deed burned in my pocket like a talisman. Time to claim what was mine and torch the bridges behind. By midday, the meeting convened in the living room, tension thick as Seattle's smog. Ethan paced, phone in hand, probably lawyering up via Reddit. This is insane.
Dad.
She's gaslighting us, probably on something. Enough, Grandpa barked from his spot by the fireplace. Nurse at his side like a sentinel.
Sit.
We're voting. Ethan stays on the board. Or Haley takes lead on the trust. No half measures. Aunt Lydia, surprisingly, spoke first. I'm with Haley.
Kid's got spine.
And if half of that's true, she trailed off, eyeing Ethan like yesterday's trash. Cousin Jake nodded.
Me too. Sorry. Mun.
The tally tipped, 5-3. My side. Ethan's face twisted demonic. You'll pay for this.
Hail.
All of you. His threat lingered as he stormed out, tires squealing into the rain. Victory tasted like ash. Because I knew him, knew the venom in his veins. The real game was just starting. The Queen and house loomed like a faded postcard from a life I never lived, Victorian bones under peeling sage paint, porch sagging but stubborn. The kind of place that whispered of jazz-age speakeasies and 90s grunge bands crashing after shows. I pulled up in my beat-up Civic, same rust bucket from both timelines, keys from the realtor jangling like loose change. Seattle's drizzle had upgraded to a spiteful pour, turning the hill's cobblestones slick as betrayal. Inside, it smelled of dust and potential, hardwood floors scarred but warm, bay windows framing the sound's moody churn, a kitchen begging for granite over laminate regrets. First order, locks. I called a locksmith buddy from the coffee shop grind, Rico, ex-con with a moral compass sharper than his picks. On it. Haley. 2 hours. $50. While waiting, I tore the empty spaces. Ghosts trailing me. Upstairs bedroom with a clawfoot tub, where I'd envisioned late-night baths, soaking away barista calluses. Downstairs study, my dream office for that graphic design side hustle Ethan always mocked. And the attic, dusty with grandma's trunks. Letters yellowed like old wounds. Rico arrived whistling mariachi, toolkit in hand. Nice digs.
Chica.
Inheritance. Something like that, I said, handing over coffee. As he worked, I spilled fragments, not the death, but the family fracture. He nodded. No judgment. Just the quiet solidarity of folks who'd clawed from the bottom. Families.
Man.
Like bad tattoos. Hard to cover up. By dusk, new deadbolts gleamed. A fortress against the wolves. I crashed on an air mattress that night. Phone blowing up. Ethan's blocked number via burner apps. Mom's guilt-tripping pleas. Come home. Let's heal. Dad's corporate speak emails about mediation. Grandpa's text was the anchor. Proud of you.
Girl.
Board meeting tomorrow. Wear the blazer. The Whitaker logging headquarters squatted in Tacoma's industrial sprawl, brick behemoth from the post-war boom. Smokestacks silent sentinels to a greener empire, sustainable cuts. Carbon offsets. The PR gloss over old-school clear-cuts. I strode in at 9 a.m., blazer crisp, heels clicking like gunfire on tile. Heads turned, whispers rippling. Elias's granddaughter. The one who flipped the script. The boardroom was walnut-paneled intimidation, long table, leather chairs, walls lined with photos of felled giants and ribbon cuttings with senators. Grandpa presided from the head, oxygen humming soft. Ethan slouched opposite, suit rumpled, eyes bloodshot, probably pulled an all-nighter scheming. Mom and Dad flanked him, a united front of pearl clutch and power tie. Aunt Lydia and Jake sat neutral. The swing votes. Agenda, Grandpa started,
Voice amplified by the mic.
Trust revisions. Haley's role. Ethan jumped in, slick as oil. Objection. She's unqualified barista, not business. This is emotional blackmail offer. Episode. I leaned forward, nails digging into palms. You mean the breakdown you engineered? The one where you dosed me to discredit? Gasps dotted the room. A bored uncle, portly, golf buddy type, shifted uncomfortably. Dosed? That's slander. Young lady. Is it? I slid a USB across the table. Check your inboxes. Copies of the pharmacy logs, your script for Xanax.
Ethan.
Filled twice what you claimed. And the dealer texts. Make sure sis takes her meds, permanent. Time-stamped week before my suicide. The room detonated. Laptops flipped open. Murmurs swelling to outrage. Mom's facade shattered. Ethan. Tell me you didn't. He didn't. Dad boomed. But his eyes screamed doubt. Grandpa's gavel, actually a polished axe handle, cracked the table. Proof. Elias. Run it through legal. Hours blurred. Forensic accountants dialing in. Whispers of audits. Ethan's bluster deflating to sweat-slicked silence. By lunch, the vote passed, unanimous minus Ethan's abstention. Me, interim trustee, with veto on major sales. The house, officially mine. No liens. But victory's afterglow soured fast. That night, as I sketched Reno plans by candlelight, power flicker from the storm. Tires crunched gravel outside. Headlights pierced the windows, Ethan's Jeep. Engine idling menacing. He didn't knock, just shouldered the new door, finding it barred. Open up. Haley. Pound. Rattle. We need to talk. I peered through the peephole. Rain-matted hair. Face twisted feral. Go home.
Ethan.
Cops are on speed dial. You think this ends it? You're ruining everything. Dad's legacy. My future. His voice cracked. Boyish for a flash, the little brother I'd bandaged after tree falls. The one who'd shared comic books under blankets. But the mask slipped back. I did what I had to. You were always weak, covering for me? Pathetic. Now you're poison.
Weak.
The word ignited the fuse. I yanked the door, chain rattling. Weak? I carried your sins so you could play savior. That Hargrove kid?
Still has nightmares.
Buddy's grave? I planted the tree. And for what? So you could hang me out to dry. He lunged, but the chain held, his fist glancing the frame.
Bitch.
I'll. Sirens wailed distant. Rico's tip-off to dispatch. Ethan froze, then bolted, Jeep peeling into the night. I slammed the door, heart thunderous. But the fear? It fueled me. Call it controversial, but in that moment, I wished the chain had snapped. Let him in. End it raw. American justice. Vigilante itch under the rule of law. Next days blurred into war. P.I. hired Grandpa's dime. Tailing Ethan's dive into shadows, bookies, shady flips. A girlfriend with a rap sheet. Mom's intervention at the house. Tears.
Wine.
Please to forgive for family. I shut her down soft but steel. Forgiveness is earned, not begged. Dad's offer. Buy you out. $600K. Clean break. Tempting. But no, the house was my line in the sand. Climax brewed at the family cabin up in the Cascades, neutral ground. Grandpa's decree for closure. Weekend retreat. Pines heavy with mist. Lake Mirror flat. The A-frame creaking under autumn weight. They arrived piecemeal. Ethan sullen. Hauling coolers like armor, Mom with casseroles. Peace offerings, Dad grilling steaks. Peacemaker facade. Jake and Lydia neutral. Kids splashing oblivious. Grandpa and I last. My Civic dwarfed by the fleet of SUVs. Bonfire crackled that night. Sparks defying the chill. Marshmallows charred on sticks. Beer cans hissed open. Talk skirted edges. Weather. Seahawks scores until Grandpa prodded. Clear the air. Haley. I stood. Flames painting my face infernal. Air's toxic. Ethan's debt to the Hargroves? Not just money, therapy bills. The dog's vet tab, I paid quietly. And the pills? Lab confirmed your prints on the baggie.
Bro.
Ethan surged up.
Chair toppling.
Lies. She's the liar, always was. Prove it, I challenged, tossing my phone into the light. Recording app glowed, his confession from the doorstep. Slurred but damning. I did what I had to. The circle imploded. Jake tackled Ethan mid-swing. Fists flying in the dirt. Mom screamed. Dad pulled them apart. Blood on knuckles. Lydia dialed 911. Voice steady. Assault in progress. Cops arrived, lights flashing, separating the melee. Ethan cuffed, spitting venom. This isn't over.
Hail.
You'll burn. But as they hauled him away, twist uncoiled. Sirens weren't just for him. Grandpa wheezed, clutching chest, heart attack. Stress triggered. Ambulance wailed him off. My hand in his. Finish it.
Girl.
For me. ICU wait was purgatory. Beeps. Fluorescent hum. Mom's vigil prayer. Doctors emerged at dawn, stabilized. But changes needed. Lifestyle. Bored. Ethan's arraignment hit headlines. Logging heir charged in family assault. Fraud probe looms. The secret unraveled public. Crashes. Cover-ups. The suicide reclassified homicide. D.A. Hargrove, the father, called personally. Your testimony. It means justice for my boy. I gave it all. Raw and unfiltered. Controversial? Hell yes. Testifying against blood. Exposing the rot in Whitaker gold. But catharsis tasted like rain-washed air. Winter clamped Seattle in its gray fist. Holidays a minefield of canceled dinners. Mom's emails gone silent. Dad's voicemails terse legalese. The Queen and house transformed under my hands. Contractors hammering new joists. Paint crews rolling eggshell over ghosts. I moved in fully by Thanksgiving. Air mattress swapped for Grandma's four-poster. Kitchen alive with takeout boxes and design mocks. Work pivoted too. Barista shifts cut for freelance gigs. Logos for indie bands. The spark Ethan had always doused now flickering wild. Grandpa rallied slow. Discharged to home care in his wing. Visits became ritual. Me wheeling him through the garden. Evergreens bowed under frost. His stories unfurling like forgotten maps. Your grandma saw it in you, he'd say. Breath fogging. That fire. Not like your brother, all smoke. No heat. Ethan's trial loomed like a storm front. January arraignment ballooned to March jury selection. Charges stacking, fraud. Assault. Manslaughter, pending reinvestigation of my death. P.I. Diggs unearthed more. His crypto Ponzi, siphoned from family investments, victims including Aunt Lydia's retirement nest. She visited once. Chain smoking on my porch. Should have seen it sooner.
But you.
You did. Thanks, kid. Controversy crested in tabloids. Whitaker dynasty implodes. Heiress alleges murder plot for $480,000 inheritance. Pundits on local news dissected it. Fox affiliate calling me vindictive opportunist. NPR framing toxic family dynamics in American wealth. Protests even. Women's groups outside the courthouse. Signs reading, believe survivors of familial betrayal. I dodged interviews. But the glare burned. Old friends texting WTF. Haley, coworkers whispering over lattes. The decision that split me gut deep. Testify or not. D.A. Hargrove pushed. Your words seal it. But Mom cornered me pre-trial. Eyes hollowed. Don't destroy us completely. For Daddy for the name. Her plea twisted the knife. In the old life, I'd folded for less.
Now?
I weighed the house's deed against the noose's shadow. Controversial as hell. Airing laundry that stained generations. But silence had killed me once. I signed the affidavit. Courtroom day dawned brittle. Federal building in downtown. Security, wands beeping like accusations. I took the stand in pencil skirt and pearls, Grandpa's gift, facing the gallery. Jake supportive. Lydia nodding. Mom a ghost in the back row. Dad, absent business. She claimed. Ethan at the defense table. Shackled subtle. Suit tailored but eyes feral. His lawyer. A silver fox from some Ivy firm. Tore and gentle. MS. Whitaker. Isn't it possible this rebirth narrative stems from trauma? Dissociative episode. Trauma, you mean? I countered. Voice steady under the fluorescence. Like finding Rohypnol in my system prescribed by no one. Days before the garage? Or the pulley receipts in Ethan's name. Installed post my depression consult. Objections flew. Judges gavel a metronome. But the jury, a cross-section of Boeing techies, baristas, retirees, leaned in, faces etching doubt on Ethan's side. My cross, the texts,
Logs.
the Hargrove family's victim impact, the kid, now teen. Voice cracking on, I still check under cars. Twist hit mid-trial. Ethan's burner phone yielded a bombshell. Voicemails to a fixer. Make the sister disappear.
Clean.
Like the dog. Gasps rippled. Defense crumbled. Plea deal whispered in sidebar. Verdict: guilty on fraud, assault, manslaughter plea for 20 to life. Sentencing hammered down in May, 25 years.
Minimum.
As cuffs clicked final, Ethan's glare met mine. Not hate, but hollow defeat. You win.
Hail.
But families curse now. Cursed? Maybe. But as he shuffled out, I felt the chain snap, not mine, but ours.
Free.
Summer bloomed tentative. House flips to revenue. Airbnb bookings for sound views. My designs going viral on Etsy. Grandpa's health steadied. Board votes passing me the gavel full-time. Legacy's yours, he rasped at the handover barbecue. Ribs smoking.
Cousin toasting sans drama.
Mom drifted in peripheral, awkward brunches. Apologies laced with, but he was troubled. Dad? Golfed in Florida. Retired. Forgiveness? A work in progress. Gray as the sound. The twist lingered. Though not Ethan's.
But mine.
Late one night, attic rummage unearthed Grandma's journal, yellowed pages chronicling her own buried secret, affair with a logger. Child given up. Whispers of Whitaker blood, not pure. Truth frees. But shatters, she wrote. Had my rebirth echoed hers? Cosmic joke or pattern? I burned the pages in the fireplace. Ashes swirling like absolution. Climax's echo faded into rhythm. Morning runs up queen and stairs. Coffee black as resolve. Designs shipping nationwide. Controversial choices? Hell. Testifying split the family artery wide. But it cauterized the rot. Grandpa passed that fall, peaceful. In his sleep, leaving a codicil. To Haley, the empire. Unburdened. Live fierce. Funeral was standing room. Lumber barons.
Paul's.
Locals who'd felled with him. Eulogy mine. Elias Whitaker taught grit. But family? That's the real timber. Bend. Don't break. Mom wept genuine. Even Dad showed. Nod my way. Ending? Not fairy tale neat. Betrayal's scar itched some nights. Ethan's letters from Walla Walla prison, sorry.
Sis.
Second chances. I wrote back once. Earn it. The house. Rented long-term. Tenants a young couple with a lab pup, Buddy's echo.
Me?
Dating a contractor, tattooed. Laughs easy, no Whitakers in sight. Reborn. Revenged. I stood on the porch one dusk. Olympics purple in the distance. Rain a soft promise. Shocking start. 10 miles. But here, whole. Silent no more.